Yo, what's up guys? Today we're going to be comparing cheap $10 goalkeeper gloves with expensive $100 goalkeeping gloves. So if you watched the last soccer video, you know how bad my goalie gloves were. Look at this hole. Literally I could poke my thumb through the glove. So I'm playing in a summer league, so I had to get some new gloves here. So I got some nice gloves and I figured I'd make a video out of it. With cheap piece of crap right here. So these gloves cost me about $100. Pretty expensive for goalie gloves. It's kind of tough now. Everything's pretty expensive for soccer. Cleats are usually like $120 if you want to get the good ones. And goalkeeper gloves, the better kind, are about $100 to $120. So I got like a decently expensive pair. Get a closer look at them. This is Elite Sport Goalkeeping. Not gonna lie, I'd never heard of this brand before I bought them, but they had a really good feel and this cool colors to me, and that's why I bought them. Comparing them to these Royce Repulse gloves. And these things are an interesting color. These probably cost about $20, if that. They're probably even cheaper. Remember we got these for our like club team a few years ago. These are the gloves they gave the team, so like these are the team gloves, so everyone would share them. So I'm just gonna compare these based on a few things. So obviously based on first appearance, like what do you see? It's what they look like, so we'll be ranking them on appearance. So first up, we'll go with these. So they're very ugly colors. Goalkeepers like to wear some ugly colors. I have like a green goalkeeper jersey, but I don't know if these would match with anything to these like ugly neon and orange colored gloves. So I mean, I don't know what I should rank these. We'll go off of a scale of 1 to 10. I'll probably put these at like a 4. Appearance wise, just kind of ugly, not really cool looking. And then these right here, one of the reasons as I mentioned, was I just really like the appearance of these. It just looks sick. Really cool, like dark black, matte black, very like clean looking. So I put these at like put them at a 9 out of 10 for appearance wise. So far these are in the lead. Next test, we're gonna do feel. So this is just gonna be like how they fit, how they feel. All right, so right now I'm actually genuinely surprised these fit me. These are like so old and like we would have gotten them years ago, so I'm surprised they still fit my hands, but honestly, they don't feel terrible. A little tight. So one thing I always like look for, I mean, I'm assuming you guys know a decent amount about goalkeeping if you're watching this video. One thing that I always look for is like the wrist, because you don't want it to be too long or too tight, because then it kind of like restricts your movement. And then another thing is like, just like the feel of your fingers, because you almost like, you need padding obviously, but you almost want to like be able to like just like it's supposed to feel like your hand with padding, and these are able to move pretty freely. There's not a lot of padding, as you can see. They're not super thick. I mean, they're cheap gloves, so what do you expect? And then another thing I'm noticing is like there's already rips in these. I mean, I don't think we used these too much when we had them, but that's a big part of the feel. Is like sometimes if they make them too thin or too thick, they rip like this. But we'll go talk about more of that in the durability test. So for feel right now, I'm probably gonna give it like a 5 out of 10. They're very average. They're not bad, but they're not great. Just put them on. Obviously they fit a little better. They're more my size. But just looking at them, very thick, good padding, but I'm still able to move my fingers pretty freely. And the wrist. So I started my summer league, and one thing I was noticing is like I fidget a lot, like with my hands and stuff, and I like to like just like stretch and stuff. And the wrist is a little tight. It's a little long for my liking, but you can kind of loosen it up based on how tight you want it to be. But that's a big thing for me, because like you got to be able to like stretch them. But based on just playing with them, they have really good feel to them. And we'll get into grip, will be the next test, so we'll talk about that. But for feel, I'm going to give these like 8 out of 10, because they would be really great, but just the wrists are a little out of my liking for me. So now we got our freaking ghetto ball right here. This is the only soccer ball we had left, and our dog plays with this, so he kind of went ham on this thing. But next test is gonna be grip. So I don't have huge hands, but I'm able to palm the ball as I'm doing it right now. This is like really easy for me to grip, and usually in the past my gloves, I wasn't able to do that. So there's just some really good grip on these. I was gonna do some throwing. So like, big part for me is like when you throw, you want to be able to like hold it, obviously, to throw it, and you kind of wrap. So it's a good feel coming off. I've played 2 games with these, so I already know what they feel like. But the grip is really good on these so far. Easily catchable, not a problem. Now you gotta do the spit test.
Ew.
Really good grip. So, I mean, I'm honestly surprised that they have this good of grip, but I mean, that's what you should get for this expensive of gloves. So far, I'm totally recommending these gloves to you if you got the money to spend. Overall, for the grip test, I'm gonna give them a 9 out of 10. These are honestly the best gloves I've used, like grip-wise. So, I'm surprised with these.
Why do they get a point knocked off?
What?
Can't be perfect. Not allowed.
No. Alright, so now we're comparing the grip of the cheap gloves, and I'm not gonna lie, literally, like I'm not faking it, it's literally like slipping out of my hands. There's like no grip on these at all. It feels like paper or something. This ball sucks, obviously, it's pretty glossy, but like I was easily able to grip it with those, and there's just no padding to it, no grip. It literally feels like plastic. It's like glossy. I mean, I don't know if you can tell from the camera, but it's like soft. Like, I can feel it like falling out of my hand.
That was weak.
And I felt it like roll off before I even threw it.
Granted, they're not brand new, but no, I don't remember them being. I remember using them a few times. They were not very good. Line.
It's like, it literally is like slipping out. Like, it's just so bad. So for grip on these, I think we're gonna give it a 1 out of 10. This is probably the worst part of it. But what do you expect from a cheap, crappy pair of gloves that were given for free to the team? Another cool feature about these expensive gloves I wanted to tell you guys about is they have these finger save that you can take out. I don't know how much you guys know about goalkeeping, but basically they go inside the glove, and it's basically for like added like stability. And I used to use them when I was younger before I got used to just having freehand gloves, but they're actually pretty useful. And that was one cool feature I really liked about these gloves, because you can take them out. So basically you just like slip them in here. This like opens up, it's Velcro. And I just thought that was a really cool feature, because when I first saw them, I saw they were finger safe, and I was like, oh, I don't really want these because I don't really use finger save anymore. And then I found out you could take them out. I'm like, this is perfect. So they're very versatile. So if you like finger save or you don't, they basically fit for both. All right, guys, next test is gonna be like a catching test. Kind of similar to all the other ones. It's just combining all the features, and we'll see how catching it goes. But I don't know if you can see it. Get it? We got Jack behind the camera today, but I got the camera set up on the most sketch tripod ever. But Jack's gonna be feeding me some balls, and I'm gonna see how good these gloves hold up. They're getting hard, they're tight. All right, so first up, cheap crappy gloves. All right, so just based off of that real quickly, it's hard to separate, like, obviously I play goal, so like I'm gonna catch them, but just like they don't have any grip to them. Literally, feels like, I don't know, it feels like I have like lotion on my hand or something. It's like literally slipping off. So catching wise, like a 3. I don't know what to give it. Alrighty, so catch test, what a surprise, they're good. I mean, you're paying for good quality and it doesn't fail. One thing I'm noticing is like, you get a lot of reach with these gloves, and like, big part about goalkeeping gloves is like, you gotta pick the right size, because you don't want them too long or it's gonna like hit the tips of your fingers and you're just not gonna catch it. But I picked a good size, and I just feel like I get a lot of reach and grip on these, and it's just They're just great. I'm trying not to be biased because like these are the ones I like, but like those other ones. So as I was saying before the camera fell over, the other ones just have terrible grip. I mean, I'm not faking it up for the video. They're just that bad. But for catching, I'm gonna give these another 9 out of 10. Okay, so for the final comparison here, we're gonna do durability test. So as I already showed, these gloves went through absolute hell. I think I used these for 2 years. Jack was laughing, you can tell. They're literally red, and like not red because of this. That is just like, that is blood. That is like blood and just like dirt and everything. So these went through it, but I used these for 2 high school soccer seasons and they did pretty well. So one thing I always look for is the corners are what rips the easiest. So these held up pretty well in between here, but the thumb was where the most damage was done, and then this ripped here, which I don't even know how that happened, but they got really worn down and just ripped through. So this is kind of like the control group. Like these went 2 years and they served me pretty well. With these, as we mentioned, we didn't use them for a lot of games, and I can already see like cracks between the fingers, and that's definitely concerning because the threading is just gonna rip and then you're gonna have a hole. So I don't know how much we didn't use them a lot, but
I used them for like 2 years.
Yeah, he might have used them for a season or 2, and they held up pretty well. Like I'm honestly surprised that they're not completely ripped through like those.
There's no like Lionel Messi strikers like, whamming the ball at you in U6
this
or anything.
Like U8, U12. So they didn't go through as much, but they still did their job well. No rips. And another thing you can look for is like the Velcro. Velcro's still pretty strong. Wrist didn't rip or anything. So I think this is going to be its first category that it does well in. I'm going to give it like a 7 or an 8 out of 10 because they held up pretty well for what they're worth. And compared to the most expensive gloves, so the Adidas ones I showed earlier were around the same price point, around $80 to $100. So I think that's probably the fairest comparison with these. So I mean, I haven't had these for long enough. Like 3 weeks at this point, or 2 weeks. But so far, no rips at all. Great to see. Because I feel like whenever I get the Adidas gloves, they always rip here so easily. And then I start losing it in the thumb. And then another thing I'm noticing is right here, this is really good that they put like it's like fabric, but it's on all around the glove. Instead of this like cheaper mesh here, this looks like it's gonna hold up better. And also the threading seems more tight and just more secure. But I mean, time will tell with these, but I'm hoping they stay pretty durable. And so far they are, no rips, nothing. So I'm gonna give these like about an 8 again for the durability. I'll update you guys if they rip, but so far they've been really good. That pretty much wraps up this video. So what's the conclusion? If you got a very limited budget, like $10, $20, you want some cheap gloves, or you just get them for free from your team, go with the Royce neon barf gloves right here. For what they're worth, they're not terrible, just not a lot of grip. But for someone who's younger, not facing all the hard shots and stuff, not bad, not bad. And then these, I can give them an even better review because I used them for so long. They went about a year and a half before they got really bad, and then I still kept playing with them, so they served me well.
You know what they were called?
They held up pretty well. They're like Adidas, it's a Predator, I believe.
Okay.
The Predator line. And then for these, if you got some money to drop, the reason I bought them is like I had to get new ones, obviously, and they were like the middle price range to higher end, but I was like, I want to get ones that last me and are worth it. So I dropped about $100 on these and got to make a video out of it, so it's kind of worth it. I get to play with them, obviously. But so far, in my limited experience with these, they're totally worth it. So that leads to the question, cheap versus expensive. That's what this video was all about. It's really up to you. If you want to spend less, you're gonna obviously get less quality, but if you want to spend more, go for the nice pair. It'll definitely be worth it as long as you use them a good amount to make it worth it. Alrighty guys, hope you enjoyed that comparison video. It's pretty fun to film. Got Jack here helping me out. Thanks, dude. If you guys like this video, make sure to drop a like and comment. We just hit 400 subscribers and we're getting close to 500, so make sure to drop a subscribe if you haven't already. We're getting there soon. It's pretty awesome. And turn on notifications so you never miss a video. I got videos every Saturday and shorts during the week. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.